Hey there, welcome back to the Field Trip Podcast. My name is Brent Terhune, and joining me for I don't know how many times you've been on the show, Jeff Bodart, but it's Jeff Bodart.
Hey, what's going on? I think I've been on 72 times.
72 times.
Do you have that many episodes?
Yeah. So you've been on about 98% of the episodes, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't hear me, it's because I don't say a lot sometimes.
You're very quiet. Sometimes you're more of a listener on podcasts.
Yes.
Which is great.
Listen, I just take it all in. I'm just observing, taking notes, and then we say a quick prayer.
Bow your heads, please. But Jeff, last time, I know one of the times you were on, we just kind of had a general chat, and it was just, probably called Jeff Bodart or something like that. But I know we got into talking about ghosts and stuff, because that's, a thing that you and I always talk about is ghost and spiritual things, because that's just kind of what we've been drawn to. So this episode, I wanted to have you on for it, is celebrity ghosts.
Oh, fantastic. I love celebrity ghosts.
And not to be confused with celebrity ghost stories, which is you gotta do some creative Googling, because I know you and I have watched Celebrity Ghost Stories, whatever that show is on whatever network, and it's Roddy Piper talking about which I'm a huge fan of, but then sometimes I'm like, I got no idea who this person is. But that's not a dig on them. It's like my knowledge of celebrity sometimes is very lacking. Unless it's Roddy Piper, I don't know who you are, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. Were they on Saved by the Bell? It's kind of like that. It's like a celebrity is it's a very generous term sometimes.
Yeah, it is very Dancing with the Stars. Unless they give me a backstory, I'm like, I don't know who this is. And I don't know why I would watch that show, first off, but sometimes it comes across the TV screen.
And so do you. It's fine.
That's true. Yes. But we're going to talk about some celebrity ghosts, but
yeah,
I got to ask you, have you ever seen a ghost?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've seen one, possibly two, and people think I'm crazy anyway, but whatever. I mean, it's fine. But I was here in my house. I bought my house in 2017, and it was a few years ago. I was laying in bed, and it was odd because I just woke up out of the blue, and I look over, and it looks like there's a woman or somebody standing in the middle of my room. And I'd like to think I'm sensitive to the paranormal.
Yeah,
at least I'm open to it. But one of the rules is if you feel scared or if you have chills, then it might be bad. It might be a negative something. But I didn't feel anything. I just kind of looked and I went, huh. And I rolled back over and went back to sleep. So
that's the opposite of what you should do, Jeff. I don't know what you should do, but I would be like, hey, what are you doing in my room?
Why are you not in this bed?
Yeah, come here, baby. Just
yes.
Turn into Beavis and Butthead all of a sudden.
That was pretty good.
So
but no, I've also heard stuff. I've seen a couple things, and you hear footsteps. And I've gone on ghost investigations where we've all been in the same room, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps upstairs. You're like, and I know that's not very exciting, but at the time that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, and so when you saw the lady in your room, was that what they would call a full body apparition, a head to toe? Could you see through her?
It was a silhouette. It was like a dark silhouette, and I couldn't necessarily see
ominous.
Through her. Is it? It might be.
In my head, it is, but
yeah. And then, but I've, I mean, to be honest, I've cleansed the house with Palo Santo is one that I've used. And then the typical other stuff, I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden. Sage, there you go. But I have sage in the house too, just in case I need it.
Yeah.
But Palo Santo is stronger. And then
have you not had a neighbor come over and been like, did they tell you what happened in there?
1961. There was a man who lived in the house. He died in the crawl space.
On this very night.
On this
God, you waited till now to tell me?
Yeah, I was a kid and I remember seeing him go in the house and never saw him come out.
Old man Bodart, not you. That would be weird.
Yeah, it's a version of me from the future.
Yeah.
or just next week. I don't know. Depends
Well,
on what
and
you're.
that's another thing we could talk about is, a big theory is ghosts are dead people, but
Hmm.
then you and I have talked about ghosts. Another thing is maybe it's just trapped energy. It's not
Trapped
even
energy.
a thing that really reacts to you. It just kind of hits play and does the thing that it does, and then loops
Hmm.
again.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that. There's doppelgangers. There's, I mean, I've listened to other stuff too, other podcasts about paranormal stuff, and I've heard
There
people's
are
stories
no
about.
other podcasts about paranormal
There are.
stuff. There was only the field trip.
There are no other podcasts ever. There's only the field trip.
This particular program. But go ahead.
And,
Sorry, I interrupted
yeah,
you.
no, it's fine. It's just you hear doppelgangers, and and I don't know. It's basically the person that or it's you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not really them. And there was a famous one that it's on another podcast. I won't necessarily name it, but
Good.
they're not being paid to be on here. But there was a kid. He was in his house, and then all of a sudden he saw this guy in the hoodie, coming into the kitchen where he was, and he something like he yelled and screamed and left. And then in the future, by like 10 years, a kid in a hoodie walks in and sees a little kid in the kitchen, and then he gets scared. So it's the same kid. They just see each other from two different times.
Yeah. What podcast was that?
That's Jim Harold's Campfire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's because that's a lot of just straight ghost story type stuff.
Yeah, which is and I enjoy that one. But if I don't have a very good voice, I got to turn it off.
If you were listening to this, you would have turned this. Let me tell you about the time. You're like, oh, God.
It could be the best story I've ever heard. Like, nope, I don't think so. Yeah. I'm never gonna hear it.
If it's Bobcat Goldthwait doing the character, just you're like, I can't. This is not. Can't even listen to it. It's not scary. So you saw the ghost in your house. Have you seen anything else? I know you're a fairly sensitive person.
Yeah, I've been I was actually I was in my garage, and then I hear things in my head sometimes, or I get impressions, and I walked in my garage to get something, and I was like, I got it, and I walked out, and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot something, and then I walked back in my garage. I got cold all of a sudden, and in my head I heard somebody say the famous phrase of "get out," and I'm like, oh. And I'm like that. I was not prepared for that. I'm like, maybe it's just my imagination. But am I allowed to curse on this podcast? I can't remember.
Curse.
So So in my head, I said, "Fuck you! This is my house. You get out." And I don't know if it was anything, but it was odd. Mm-hmm. And then I messaged some psychic friends, and they said, "No, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You reacted. You basically are setting parameters." That's the thing. You have to set parameters or boundaries with any spirits or entities.
Otherwise, these ghosts will run all over you.
No, yeah, they'll just take advantage of it.
You give them $5 one day, next day they want 10.
They're eating in every room in the house. You can't have that,
Leaving ghost crumbs all over the place.
Yeah, you can't have ghosts. Yeah, and they're hard to sweep up. You see them, but you can't gather them up. Ridiculous.
I'm asking you, and I don't think I've ever seen anything, but also I don't know that I opened myself up to that stuff because I would be scared as shit.
Oh, really? Oh, you need to go on an investigation with me.
I've been on I did Waverly Sanitarium.
Oh yeah, I did too.
And producer wife and I were in the body shoot where they would throw the dead bodies down, the tuberculosis patients. And
now, did you let the bodies hit the floor?
I did. It was I was playing drowning pool. They said turn all the lights out, so it was pitch black, and guess who queued up drowning pool? Out of respect for the dead, of course. I
didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry about that.
No. It's like she's more sensitive to stuff, but I guess I'm open to seeing that stuff, but also emotionally, I would just shit myself if I saw a ghost, Yeah.
Well, that is a risk that you have to take of shitting your pants. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was on stage in Arcadia, Indiana, at a place called the Hedgehog, And this is I don't know, probably almost 10 years ago. And I was on stage, and I there weren't very many people there because I'm a big draw. But so I'm doing, 45, 50 minutes or whatever, and me and probably going over. But
Do a lot of crowd work.
doing a lot of crowd work. So I get to the end, and I don't know what to do at the very end. And then a buddy of mine says, "Hey, do your ghost joke." And I'm like, I don't think I remember how to do it. And then somebody in the front row says, "Do it." And I said, "All right, fine, I'll try it." So then I got to one part, and I said, one of the main reasons that ghosts even exist is because they left something undone before they died. And I could not remember the rest of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said that out loud. I was embarrassed, but whatever. You're comedian, you kind of roll with it. But then as I say that out loud, that I don't remember how the rest goes, I hear behind me, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I look at the crowd, and we're all sort of stumped and bewildered. I'm like, I said, did we all hear that? And they go, yeah. I go, is there somebody behind me? And they go, no. And I'm physically looking behind me, and there's nothing there. And I even say to the owners of the facility, I said, do you have like a Halloween display still up? And it's like, December when I'm doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, no. And we didn't know what it was. And then I said, and then some lady came up to me after the show, and she goes, we know the whole town is haunted. And I go, what do you mean? There's like the whole town? She goes, well, it's like 3 buildings. And I go, oh, okay. So anyway, I'm like, okay, that's interesting, at least, whatever. I thought I let it go, and then we're hanging out afterwards. And then with the footsteps, I hear from the front part of the facility to the back, and it's upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, is anybody up there? And they go, no. And so we went upstairs, and that's nothing there. I took a picture, and I saw like a weird flash of light on the actual picture. And I was like, well, man, I don't know. I'm always good about, I think I'm like, some people call it a skeptical believer.
Yeah.
I want to debunk it, so then I'm like, okay, now it's,
yeah, you're not so gullible as to believe that everything you've ever seen is anything, but you're also like, this could be any number of things. So this could be dust. This could be and if it's not, then you're also like, maybe it is,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. But it was no mistaking. I heard footsteps, and the guy's like, well, maybe that's just the heater kicking on. And I said, do you have one of those footstep heaters? But there's clearly like boot walking.
Yeah.
So, they're made for walking.
That's what they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about some celebrity ghosts.
Sure.
Are you familiar with this guy named Marilyn Monroe? You ever heard of him?
Oh, yes.
Marilyn Monroe is said to haunt the Brentwood home she was found dead in August 4th, 1962, along with her beloved poodle Maff, M-A-F. I don't know if you know the dog's name or not, but I guess that's the dog's name. I don't know why the dog's lumped in with it's trapped.
Yeah, I've never heard of the dog being mentioned in any of that, the legend of Marilyn Monroe's ghost.
Yeah, well, it says the ghost dog's cry is said to be heard from the outdoor courtyard and pool area, and Marilyn has been spotted all over the property. She doesn't stay home though, because people have reported sightings at Monroe's spirit in room 1200 of the Roosevelt Hotel.
Oh, wow.
Hippodrome on the Santa Monica Pier. I'd go stay somewhere at the Hippodrome, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to ride the Hippodrome, but it's always perplexing to me to hear about a ghost of the same spirit being, of the same person being spotted in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it's like, well, I guess maybe energy can split. Part of the energy over there, part of the energy over there. I don't really know. It's the same thing with Elvis's ghost.
Yeah, we'll talk about him.
Okay.
But don't get ahead of me, all right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
Jeez. Yes, sir.
Jeez, I'm so sorry.
Well, that lends to maybe a ghost is more energy than anything. But I don't does that, like you said with the doppelganger thing, do you think you could see a ghost of somebody that's not dead?
I think if that person has a lot of energy to them, like a lot of I don't even know how to even explain it. If they're just sometimes I think people are so full of energy or vibrance
Spirit.
or
Yeah.
spirit. Yeah. And I've also heard that, our 100% spirit is not in our body. It's only a part of it. Because if our whole spirit was inside this particular body, this sort of flesh box that we're in would explode because it's just so much energy, so much spirit in one, and our bodies can't. And so when we die, this particular piece of the spirit is rejoining the bigger spirit, in the upper realm, so to speak. So, and Delores Cannon talks about that. She's an author, and she's also taking people back. What do they call that? Regression.
Regression therapy.
Yeah, where they take them back into past lives and things like that. It's very interesting.
So do you subscribe to that as well, as you could, like, almost a reincarnation? Like,
yeah, I kind of believe that we've been here before.
Yeah.
And I kind of think sometimes we have a choice to come back, and I kind of think we don't have a choice. We automatically come back just because we haven't learned everything we're supposed to learn.
Yeah. Then you're like, I'm always like, if my life is not bad now, but then, like, if I came back, I don't want to get a worse life.
Right. No, I think actually I think it progressively just gets better. The lives get better. I think because we're taking what we've learned in past lives and our spirit or something is learning. And so we make better choices as we come back and do it again.
It's that having that deja vu without actually having the deja or the vu before that. I don't know how it works, but just having those memories that you never even lived to begin with,
Yeah, absolutely. That's fascinating to me. There's a psychic named Trenny Simmons, I believe that's her name, and she was on a show. She is a psychic, but she was on a show with her kid because she believed that her son was the reincarnation of her brother. And then there's a whole episode about it on The Ghost Inside My Child. And I know Trenny, and it's interesting. Or Trenny, not Trenny.
That's a weird. That's almost like a soap opera level of storytelling of. And now I am your brother's son. Like, and I'm not trying to make light of this lady situation, but it's like that's definitely like, you thought I was dead, but I am the twin brother of. Like.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about a fellow redhead comedian, and I'm not talking about me, Jeff. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Everyone loved Lucille Ball, and her ghost has been reported in more than one place, much like Marilyn Monroe. She passed away in her Beverly Hills mansion, and subsequent owners have reported mysteriously broken windows, voices heard from the attic, and furniture moving around the house per the Hollywood home. But Lucy's ghost apparently loves to travel, because her ghost has also been reported at the Hart Building on the Paramount Studios backlot, where I Love Lucy was produced, and the Jamestown Cemetery in New York, where she's buried.
Oh, wow.
3 different places.
I would say she was one of those high energy people.
Yeah.
She's got a very vibrant personality and energy and spirit to her. Yeah, I could see that.
Can you imagine? But also, like, you walk out in the kitchen and the cap's off the Vitamin Benjamin, and you're like, Lucy. To have a funny ghost, like, doing those classic bits.
Yeah, wouldn't she just screw around with you?
Yeah, eating all your chocolate. Afterlife?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, is that chocolate in my bed? No, it's shit.
It's a Lucy turd.
Yes.
I've also been to Jamestown, New York. That's where, I don't know if you've ever been there, Jeff, but it's the I guess you would call it the National Comedy Museum in Jamestown, New York.
I've heard about it. Is that where that hideous statue of her is?
I don't know. Probably. If there's a statue, it's probably in Jamestown. But the museum definitely worth. By the way. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. If you said it was hideous. It's so weird how certain statues can look 100% like the person, and then another one could be just way off. I'm like, that's not even. Look, did the statue get stung by bees? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, why are her lips caterpillars? I don't understand. They didn't even have Botox yet.
Yeah. But that the museum's definitely worth checking out.
I'd love to see that.
But just to live in Lucille Ball's house, and previous episode of this show was famous last words, and she was featured on that episode, and her last words, as I remember, were something to the effect of my Florida water. Which Florida water is like I don't know if you may know, but it's like a perfume type thing. But yeah,
I've heard of Florida room, but I've not heard Florida water.
No, but it's one of the less impressive last words.
Well, color Florida me water. Ignorant.
Yeah, you ignorant slut. Anna Nicole Smith spent her final hours at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, before her death in 2007. Since then, people have claimed to see her spirit wandering around the hotel lobby. Can you imagine just being stuck in a Hard Rock hotel?
Ugh. Those overcooked steaks. Yeah.
You get some drumsticks in your room, but they're actually $30 if you want to take them with you.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I walked. I was like, "Oh, cool! They got drums." Oh no, it's $30 if you want to take that.
Yeah, I what a sad existence as far as the afterlife goes. If you're just stuck, there.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you can? Whenever you see a show and a psychic says, "I'm going to cross them over," do you believe a person can actually cross somebody over?
I don't know, because I'm skeptical from the jump of a psychic anyway.
Yeah,
but I'm also like, maybe you could do that, but then does that mean, like, if you see them again at the casino, did that even work? Did it take?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that person can cross any spirit over, but I think maybe they can help. Like, hey, look for the white light. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I just think it's odd when somebody says, "Oh, I crossed him over." Oh, well, that's nice of you. Yeah, that's ego. That's ego.
Also, like, what if you're haunting a place that nobody ever even goes to? Is that lonely? Are you aware? Like, nobody's coming to this place? Yeah,
I bet. Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting question. Depends on if it's a loop or not. If it's just trapped energy, and if it's intelligent energy, then that's sad. But if it's just a looped energy, that's different. What do they call that again? Looped energy. That I don't know what it's called.
I don't know. I'm sure you think of it.
I can't remember the terminology.
What a haunting thing if you just could observe the same event over and over again. Like, maybe, and it's a lot of times it's not even like anything that's significant. It's not like somebody was beheaded there and now you see the beheading every 15 minutes like it's a geyser, like it's
and you hear the thump of the head hitting the floor.
Sometimes it's just like they walk from the door to the thing and then back to, like, it's nothing,
Yeah. And all of a sudden, thump, 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 thump.
And then the head comes rolling.
Well, it keeps rolling.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. I'd be interested to find out. I mean, I would like to do some investigating on that myself.
Well, let's talk about Walter Disney. You ever heard of Walter Disney?
I have heard of Walter Disney. I actually went to high school with a girl whose last name was Disney, and I said, "Are you related?" She goes, "Actually, we are." I said, "Oh," and she said, "But it's nothing significant." She said,
"Yeah." Well, that's weird. You've never, like, Disney, one of the most everywhere brands, but I've never met a Disney.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think I've ever met a so-and-so Disney.
I don't know. I met her and she's really nice, and she was in my art class. But yeah, that's interesting. Other than her, you're right. I've not heard of any other Disney.
There are several ghosts believed to haunt Disneyland. One of them is Walt Disney himself. Even photographic and video, quote, evidence floating around the internet Walt died in 1966 and loved trains. One former cast member named Daryl Wagner said the Disneyland Railroad that circles the park. This is a quote from me. He said the train command center has a board that shows where the trains are on the track. Late at night in the far corner, a train would show on the board and the whistle would blow, even though there was no train out there. The old guys used to say, that's Walt's train.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. So he's on the train?
Apparently is what that is, and just out there riding a ghost train.
Wow. Well, that's interesting as well. I mean, I don't know that I guess I don't know enough about Walt Disney in general as a man.
Well, another one was that he loved to smoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't seen smoking in public areas around kids. That's because of his wife was like, don't do that. But after Walt died, my security supervisor, this is from that Wagner guy again, used to smell cigarette smoke back there almost every night. He used to hide to try to catch the smoker. He never did and never found cigarette butts, but he always smelled fresh smoke. He finally concluded it was Walt sneaking a last smoke. He's been spotted all around the park at Fantasyland, the Haunted Mansion, and his old apartment above the fire station.
Wow. To have that much energy to recreate having a smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. That's an impressive amount of energy to be able to recreate smoking.
Well, and that's also like one of the things of you hear like, oh, maybe I didn't see a ghost, but I smelled her perfume, one of those common things that you hear about.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like being able to smell ghostly things, like like you just said, perfume and smoke. That is interesting. That is sort of the only people can see a ghost, but to recreate a smell is just so fascinating to me. How do they work up enough energy to make that happen?
Well, and smell is so strongly tied with memory, so.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
We've all smelled something and been immediately taken back to our grandma's house,
Yeah. Like I was a bedwetter, and I think maybe in my parents' old house, my parents' house in the basement, maybe when I die, like at 145 years old, maybe you'll smell a wet bed in my parents' basement.
I smell piss. Uncle Jeff, we know you're here.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, there he is. Oh, it's so lovely to hear that he's doing fine.
That you could hear the trickle if you if you're quiet. Harry Houdini died on Halloween night, 1926, but he planned to come back after death and promised his wife he would contact her in the afterlife. After he died, she organized a seance in their house in Laurel Canyon for the next 10 years. Before finally giving up and moving. Eventually the house burned down with brush fire, but that's a weird thing of like, I'll try and reach you from the other side.
Mm-hmm. There's a similar story with Rue McClanahan.
Is that that's the Golden Girl?
Yeah, Blanche.
Yeah.
The whore.
My ex-girlfriend.
I'm sex positive, and that's fine, whatever. Anyway, but oh shit. But she was talking about how a friend of hers told her that he would let her know that he was on the other side, but he would mess with the electricity. And she said, yes, he did. He made all the lights flicker and all kinds of things going on in the house on a regular basis. So
I don't know, but I don't need electricity because that could just be from the power company's fault. I need you to move something in my house that wouldn't normally move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But maybe like energy and electricity are closely tied together or something.
I think it could be. Yeah. I was in my bedroom as a kid. This is the early days of, well, I mean, I'm not really a kid, I guess. I don't know. This is the early days of the internet. We just got the internet or whatever. I was on my laptop or something, and my my closet light, the chain broke, so
Mm-hmm.
you had to physically screw it in. And
Yeah.
that's actually a trick that investigators do, is they barely unscrew a light bulb or the flashlight, and so that you could maybe touch it and it would, come on.
Yeah.
Well, this one you couldn't touch it, but it did come on one night, and I thought, well, that's interesting. It
And then you rolled
scared
over
the
and went
shit
to
out of me.
bed again, right?
Yeah, I closed the porn down, and I was like, well, apparently somebody doesn't want me. Grandma, are you here? It was, is that it freaked me out though?
No, I get, because I've just around the house have had stuff flicker, and I think it's just like, oh, this light bulb's going, but in
Yeah.
my head something flashing, I'm like, well,
Mhm.
goddamn, this is it. This is the something's coming to get me.
Have you tried communicating with it?
No, I don't.
Have you tried saying, "Hey, do that again"?
No, because I don't want him to do it again.
You should do an EVP session in your house.
Is anybody here?
Yeah.
During this recording, somebody's going to be listening and hear something.
Yeah, probably. I'll give you the.
I'm going to go back and edit in ghostly voice and stuff for that. And just,
oh, you should.
And just know I didn't do that. The only thing I did was cha 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 cha
cha. Oh God, that's creepy.
Another guy who's creepy is Al Capone. He served 4.5 years in the maximum federal penitentiary in Alcatraz. But if the stories are true, he really enjoyed his time there and likes to return in the afterlife. Scarface passed away in 1947 in Miami Beach, Florida. There are stories that banjo music sometimes play from his old jail cell in Alcatraz. Mm-hmm. There's not the only place, though. He allegedly used the Congress Plaza Hotel in Chicago as his headquarters and has been known to be seen there as well. I don't understand the banjo music from the cell. Did he play banjo?
I don't know. I didn't know that he played banjo. I mean, I think I did hear that Al Capone was, what's the word? He was treated well in prison. His money, he still got to have sort of nice things. And is
probably
that a thing?
The whitest collar. Yeah, the Epstein of his day.
Yeah. I mean, sort of
even Al Capone's like, hey, I'm no Epstein. I'm not a monster.
Well, he went crazy because of syphilis, didn't he?
I think that's what happened.
Went unchecked, and then he eventually got out. Didn't he? He got out and died at home, didn't he?
I know he died in Miami, so maybe he was like so sick that they're like, there's nothing happening with this dude,
Yeah.
Just weird banjo music. Like I don't equate a Chicago gangster with banjo music.
No, he's from the south side of Chicago.
Oh, that's, what? That's it. Cha cha cha. Now, Jeff, do you know Joan Crawford?
Yeah. I mean, we used to write letters back and forth, but yeah.
Yeah. Dear Joan. Well, I only learned of her from, there's a Blue Oyster Cult song that I just found in the past couple of years called Joan Crawford. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is a great song, but I don't know who this is. So I had to look her up, and
wasn't she a writer?
I think she was an actress.
Same thing.
But her adopted daughter wrote a memoir about her called Mommy Dearest. And it was kind of a huge tell-all. It was published in 1978. It's published by Christina Crawford, the adopted daughter of the actress. And there's a lot of points in here detailing kind of the abuse that happened from Joan Crawford, because apparently she was not a very nice woman, Jeff.
Oh, God.
Like when Crawford first adopted Christina and Christopher, they were named Joan Jr. and Philip Terry Jr. after their adoptive father. So they adopted these kids and then named them after themselves.
Oh, God.
But after Crawford's third marriage fell apart, she renamed the children. Crawford hated wire hangers and repeatedly once woke up her daughter in the middle of the night for using them. In a scene that's become synonymous with the film, she is said to have dragged her daughter by the hair, yelling, "No wire hangers, no more wire hangers."
Oh, God.
So like a Carrie situation. And these are
Mm-hmm.
from the book. This is not the ghost encounter stuff, by the way.
Okay.
Christina had a favorite dress until she was provoked. She provoked her mother into shredding it. Joan Crawford then made Christina wear the dress for a week in order to humiliate her.
Jesus.
And this is stuff from Christina. Again, this is all what she says. Is this true or not? I don't know. Crawford was prone to what Christina called night raids, in which she would wake the children up drunk and make them clean messes they hadn't necessarily made for hours on end. Christina said that she once starved for days when she refused to eat an undercooked steak that was still bloody, all in a bid for her mother to control her. And there's a bunch of these. I'm going to scan them and see. I don't need this doesn't need to be the Joan Crawford podcast, Jeff.
That's probably good that she's dead.
Yeah, I would say so. Crawford attacked her daughter once more after the incident that I skipped, when she thought Christina was making a pass at her husband, Alfred Steele. Christina wrote that when she was 15 years old, she was so depressed from her mother's treatment towards her that she tried to kill herself at a boarding school by overdosing on pills. She claimed her mother never contacted her or addressed the situation afterwards. Although Christina felt flat out accused her mother of killing her fourth husband, Steele, who I just mentioned, she has pointed to the fact she never accused him, by the way. I read that incorrectly. She pointed to the fact that the healthy man suspiciously fell down the stairs only 3 years after they had been married.
Oh.
So I don't know if you've seen The Staircase, that show, but falling down the stairs. So that's some of the snippets from Mommy Dearest. So we go to the ghost, Joan Crawford. Years later, in 1989, Christina explained the house she grew up in Brentwood was haunted. I think that's the same neighborhood as Marilyn Monroe, was haunted, and she saw things in the house. Joan went on to die in the house, and things got weirder. Quote, spontaneous fires, primarily in the wall behind where Joan Crawford's bed used to be. Once the Beverly Hills Fire Department spent 4 days there attempting to solve the mystery of the spontaneous fires that would break out in the walls. The owners decided to have the house exorcised numerous times, and Christina later said, quote, every single family that lived in that house has had horrible things happen: illness, alcoholism, addictions, relationship problems, and now evidently with the current owner, the walls are breaking out in flames.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
She was I kind of believe that. Sounds like a very mentally imbalanced person.
Yeah.
And very angry.
And apparently a lot of energy.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, generally, if you're so negative like that, you take that with you to the other side. I mean, just because you're dead doesn't make you smarter or nicer.
Yeah.
It just means you're dead.
And one of the other things that I don't know if it was in that list of stuff, but I did read, like, Christina left this soap opera due to like mental exhaustion or took a break. And who replaced her character on the show was Joan Crawford.
Oh.
Like a 60-year-old Joan Crawford.
Wow.
And I think that was like a bit of, you just took my spot on this show, type thing.
Yeah.
But that, yeah, and I just like that song, and it's the chorus is Joan Crawford has risen from the grave. Like, and I was like, well, this is a real person. That's pretty messed up. And then you read about her and you're like, I guess it's not so bad, I guess,
yeah.
Couple more. Yeah,
sounds terrible pretty, ghost.
Yeah, like starting fires in the walls. That's why I'm saying don't mess with the electricity. Yeah, don't mess with the electricity. I don't need it. Amy Winehouse. This is a pretty relevant, not relevant, but recent one. The Sun reported that Pete, is that Doherty?
Yeah, I think so.
Had fled to Paris after her ghost showed up at his London flat 3 or 4 times. And in 2018, her father said his daughter's spirit visited her family's home in Kent. His spirit comes and sits on the end of the bed. She just sits there, and it looks just like her with her beautiful face. And she looks at me. I say to her, "Are you all right?" Because I get nervous with her being there. Mitch Winehouse said during an interview with The Sun, adding that soon after she died, she began to visit in the form of a blackbird. Now the
Okay.
blackbird thing that's is what it is. You could take it or leave that, but somebody just sitting at the end of your bed that is dead is
Mm-hmm.
like it might be comforting, but I'm also like I'm like, you're not supposed to be there. This
Mm-hmm.
is not in my heart. It scares me, Jeff. Like,
um yeah, that's my biggest fear is waking up and there's somebody standing right at my side of my bed or at the foot of my bed, sitting on my bed, anything to do with me in the bed. I mean, that it creeps me out to no end. And I thought somebody touched me one night inappropriately in bed in my house here. It
you had a
was
succubus in there?
is that what they call it? That's a succubus. Is that where they? Yeah. But I had I was like, get out of there. It was
Was it your butt?
Yep. It
Oh
was
no.
uncomfortable. And I was like I was freaked out. So
Now is this
had to
now do you go and like sage the house after this?
I didn't I said some prayers and I kind of warded off whatever I thought was there. And I just I set some parameters again. I guess I could sage it one more time.
Yeah.
I think a regular saging of any area that you're in, regular, like especially your home.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. You know, the Funny Bone in Omaha, by Colleen runs that,
Yeah.
and she has like once or twice every few months, she'll have it saged.
Yeah.
So
And that's such a because like people, if you don't believe in that, will call that crazy. But then also they will turn around and whatever spiritual thing they do, and that's
yeah,
not crazy because their mom and dad taught them to do that.
yeah.
Like
I tried to tell somebody that praying is basically just like casting spells. Oh, I don't think so. Okay, all right. I mean, just replace God with the word universe. You
yeah.
know,
But that's
kind of like
what a jump that is, Jeff. For
huge, huge leap.
Bonnie and Clyde is that we've been called Bonnie and Clyde a comedy before.
Mm-hmm.
This pair of
I'd gladly
notorious
be Bonnie.
I'm Clyde for sure. Outlaws of the 1930s were finally tracked down and killed on May 23rd, 1934, outside of Arcadia, Louisiana. Their bullet-ridden car was then towed into town with their bodies still in the vehicle.
Oh, God.
Today, a marker stands at the site where they died and is said to be haunted by the pair. Photographs taken of the marker often come out with ghostly forms, and I Googled photographs of that, and I pulled up the one where they were still dead in the car, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Like that doesn't scare me, but I also don't, I'm not trying to seek out dead people in a car. Like
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think I saw the car somewhere. Where was I? I think it was on display at a casino or something.
that
Where was
seems
that?
very likely that it would be. Was it at the Hollywood casino where what's her face is haunting?
It might have been. I don't know. I think I remember seeing that car, or at least a piece of it or something. It was weird. I'm like, this is the actual car. Yeah, that's the actual car they were shot in.
It's the Prim Valley Resort and Casino in Prim Valley, Nevada.
The car is?
Yeah, so it's labeled as the death car.
Huh.
And man, is this bullet ridden?
Maybe I was in Vegas when I saw it because I was out there in September of last year.
It could have you probably just come across a show that has done something, or
Yeah, maybe
it's
so.
possible that you saw it too. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. But if generally when you're struck down like that in a violent way, when you're riddled with bullets, they say that's good recipe for coming back as a ghost.
A lot of energy. I'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a couple more. Aaron Burr was the third vice president under Thomas Jefferson, but he is not known so much for that as he is for the duel with Alexander Hamilton. After killing Hamilton in the duel, Burr was placed on trial for treason but was acquitted. Today, Burr is said to haunt the One If by Land, Two If by Sea restaurant in New York City, located in what is once Burr's carriage house at 17 Barrow Street. Both visitors and staff alike have observed dishes that fly on their own accord and have had chairs pulled out from under them by unseen hands. So I would go eat at that restaurant, wouldn't you?
I probably would, yeah.
It sounds.
And besides that, go ahead.
It sounds like it's got got $8 signs next to it on Yelp.
Yeah, I would say so. A bit pricey, but I think he gets a bad rap for killing Alexander Hamilton. I mean, Alexander Hamilton, a little mouthy, if you ask me. You know, talking shit, all kinds of shit about Aaron Burr. Burr is just a guy. Just, hey man, why don't you come over here? I'll shoot you.
I'm not really up on.
You don't hear a lot of people sticking up for Aaron Burr.
No, you're the first. I think. I don't know. I don't know a lot about the whole situation, so I can't tell you one way or the other. Voted number 5 most romantic restaurant in the world.
Really?
And I was right. It does have $4 signs, Jeff.
Oh shit!
This is the kind of place that doesn't even put 99 at the end of the prices.
Exactly. They're not going to convince you.
It just says 84, and I know I'm not supposed to be there.
Yeah. So you're gonna pay $100 for a steak, probably.
Probably.
That's what. And you know, you get all the sides. You know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess the thing that scares me most about this place is the prices.
You should look up Aaron Burr's death mask.
Why? What is that?
It's just, well, they take a sort of a plaster cast of the face.
Yeah, I did it
after death, and it's interesting. A little creepy, but it's interesting.
Just the whole process of a death mask is creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can do that when you're dead because they don't have to poke holes for the nose or anything, so they can get right up in there.
He appeared to have like a curved nose a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, he looks like a Disney character, to be honest.
Almost looks like a 3D ultrasound.
Okay. Of a baby or an old man?
Of an old man. That's even creepier. You see it, get the ultrasound, it's an old man in there. Lon Chaney Sr., remembered primarily as the pioneer actor of horror films during the silent film era. Chaney died in 1930. Today's spirit is said to be haunt Soundstage 28 at Universal Studios. The stage was used for the film Phantom of the Opera, and Chaney's caped spirit has been seen running along the catwalks above the stage. Other phenomena reported occurred here include the lights that turn on and off and the doors that open and close by themselves.
Wow.
Those are on and off and lights and stuff. That's pretty typical of any haunted. Jeff, you've done enough old theaters. Excuse me. I just burped on the podcast. Did you hear that? You've done enough old theaters as a stand-up to just walk in, and now you don't have to ask, is it haunted? You just say, how haunted is this place?
Yeah, every theater is haunted, no matter the age. They're all haunted.
Yeah, they could have they cut the ribbon and they're like, did we tell you about the ghost?
Wait, we just opened. No. There was a custodian here at least an hour ago who died.
Yeah. He said it has a death curse and he's coming back.
Yes.
Now,
every theater is haunted, and even cruise ships. I feel like sometimes, you know, it's just in the arts. There's always a lot of people around, and especially on stage, you know, different dynamics of energy and everything. Oh yeah, it's definitely. Oh, they're all haunted. They're all haunted.
Everything, and it could be maybe it's those places that are drawn that have a lot of energy, and maybe maybe those things feed off the energy that are there, and that's why they can produce smoke
Yeah.
or
And when
whatever.
people ask what's energy, I particularly feel like it is extreme highs and lows of like extreme happiness or extreme anger or sadness. It's the extremes that produce the
Mm-hmm.
energy that gets trapped in the space, you know?
Yeah. And it's
So when
somehow there's
somebody,
a snapshot of furious rage, and that's what's in whatever cemetery, whatever
yeah,
it is, you know.
yeah, I believe it.
We have two more, but let's talk about Elvis, Jeff. I could
Sure.
read this, but you want to tell me what you know?
Oh, well, there's a few things. As you know, pardon me, back in this past June 9th to the 12th, I visited Memphis. And on my birthday, I just turned 45. On my birthday, I got to visit Graceland inside the building and everything. And it was truly amazing. Now, they say Elvis haunts the grounds. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I wouldn't put it past the spirit of Elvis to haunt the grounds.
It's also
That
great for
is,
tourism. You know as well as I do. If you could say something's half haunted, that
yeah.
people like me will go and stay at a bed and breakfast, even though I don't want to see anything. But that's also now an attraction. Is it's haunted, but also on
Yeah.
top of that, it's Graceland. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And ghosts used to be detrimental to the business. Now it is. It's a boost.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's not that big of a house. I mean, it's big, but it's not like a mansion.
Yeah.
But I could probably see how he could be. They say I've heard stories of him being seen at the piano playing gospel music like he used to do when he was alive,
Mm-hmm.
right in the living room there. And then they say, sometimes he's spotted in the office where his dad, Vernon Presley, had his office. And yeah, and then I also heard the story of him being spotted in Vegas.
Yep.
Of course, I think it was Wayne. What's his name?
Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton. He had spotted him because I guess apparently they were friends. I don't know, but I do know that they say he has been spotted. What do you know?
Well, it says here a white sequined Elvis has been seen by stagehands at the Las Vegas Hilton, where he often performed in the early 1970s. He's also been, quote, seen in a rambling old building just off Nashville's Music Row. At one time, the building housed the recording studios of the RCA in the 1950s. And it was here that Elvis recorded his breakthrough 1956 hit single, Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah, written by Mae Axton, by the way.
Yeah,
who was the mother of actor Hoyt Axton.
Hoyt didn't write a single song, did he?
Hoyt Axton?
Elvis.
Or Elvis. No, Elvis did not write a single song. He just basically just did covers.
Just be the face and the hips of this. And boy, did it pay off.
It did. It really did.
Though RCA is no longer there, the building continues to house a TV production studio that produces music-related programs. According to the people that have worked there, every time Elvis's name is mentioned, something strange happens, such as ladders falling down, lights blowing out, and unexplained noises coming through the sound system. A white sequined Elvis has also reportedly been spotted by stagehands at this hotel where he performed at in the early 1970s. And also Las Vegas. I mean, if you're ever going to see a ghost of Elvis, it would be Las Vegas, because there's just about 100 guys probably at any given moment dressed as Elvis.
Yeah, that you see, you can't say it's Elvis's ghost. You could maybe see it. Maybe that's the Elvis impersonator ghost.
Yeah. Do you think like an Elvis impersonator has died and they come back and they're in their Elvis getup?
Yeah.
So like you being falsely attributed to Elvis when really they're just like Rick.
And and the ghost won't correct him.
Yeah. No.
No, just let him think I'm Elvis.
Thanks, baby.
That's all they wanted.
Boo, man. So that's pretty much Elvis. And yeah, again, that's like one where you're not surprised that anybody's seen the ghost, because what a huge character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was kind to a fault, they say. I mean, he was a very kind and giving person. So constantly giving away things. I think he was probably I think he kind of had that maybe a tad bit of imposter syndrome. You know, just a touch where because he gave away so much money and cars, and maybe he was just buying friends. You just never know who his friends were. He didn't have a lot of friends
well, I imagine you get a certain level and you got a lot of yes men.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it's partly why he died.
And that's why I like having you around, because rarely do you tell me yes, Jeff.
I never tell you yes.
I'm like, could you put a shirt on? And you're like, no. Could you put some pants on? No.
No. Can I have a bite of that? No.
Well, we maybe saved the funniest for last, and I don't mean like something funny happened from the ghost, but this is the ghost of Red Fox, Jeff.
Oh yeah, wash your ass is synonymous with Red Fox. I don't know.
You got to wash your ass. The popular star of the long-running Sanford and Son television series has been known to haunt Stage 31 at Paramount Studios, where he died of a heart attack. Can you imagine the dude that fakes a heart attack every episode, dying of a heart attack, and everybody's like, "Man, this is a great bit." He's really committed to this one.
Yeah, there's got to be a few people like, ugh, what a hack. Come on, man.
He's doing the thing.
Write something new.
At the studio, people have heard him laughing at the jokes and claiming he just kind of hangs around. More often, the comedian is known to haunt his former home in Las Vegas. After a terrible battle with the IRS, he lost the home when the IRS forced him to sell. The new owner reportedly saw Fox's apparition walking around in a bathrobe. I just like that some of these ghosts are that Elvis is in a sequin white suit and Red Fox is just in a bathrobe.
Somebody get me some pants.
You dummy.
You
Boo,
dummy. Yeah. Boo, dummy.
Other strange occurrences including lights that turned on and off by themselves and a sliding glass door constantly opening of its own accord. Today, the building houses offices for Nevada Aqua Air Systems. Continuing to have trouble with the sliding door, they finally replaced it with a wooden swinging door. However, this didn't stop the door from opening with invisible hands.
Crazy.
Boo, dummy.
Boo, dummy.
Did you ever hear that story of Red Fox in Las Vegas doing, I'm sure I've added my own stuff hearing the story, but doing like a midnight show, and they hit the, from Sanford and Son, give it up for Red Fox, and he comes out and there's about 13 people in the audience, and he just looks around and he goes, Red Fox don't perform for no 13 people. And he walks out.
I have heard that.
And it just
they played him off.
Yeah, I think so. Could you just imagine, like, if you came to see him and there's not a lot of people and it's at midnight, so who's going to a show or whatever, but then just like, nope, and then just walking back out.
I think Oskay's done that on a blind date.
Probably, yeah, our friend Jeff Oskay. But yeah, you and I, most comedians don't have the luxury. Usually you see 13 people and you just go, all right. Like,
I hope they buy a lot of shirts.
Everybody better leave with double the merch.
And at some point, somebody on the show will say, oh, small but mighty crowd.
Yeah.
Ugh, why don't you blow it out your ass?
Well, I guess I got to blow it out my ass because I'll say it, Jeff. I don't care.
You say small but mighty?
No, I just say I'm going to perform like it's 15 people here tonight. I'm going to give you the best show possible.
Well, no, that's next level. That's fine.
Because I'm a professional.
You are a professional, sir.
Well, Jeff, that's all the celebrity ghosts I've collected for this episode.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, it's been fun. It's been fun. That was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of any other celebrities off the top of my head, but that might be ghostly. But
yeah, that's you got a creative Google to see who's going to pop up with certain one. And there were a lot of some that I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Just because I don't know it doesn't mean people don't know it. But it's my show, Jeff.
You know, this guy was a key grip, and on Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he is that's not really a celebrity.
Who do we think from like today's celebrities that we might see as a ghost?
Oh wow, Liza Minnelli.
You think?
I think so.
And I'm not wishing ill on anybody or death, but big energy people. Yeah, I'm surprised Don Rickles has not been seen around roasting people.
That's true. I'm trying to think somebody loud and brash.
Michael Richards.
Yeah, that could be.
We saw Kramer's ghost.
Yeah, he was very offensive.
He just, no, sir, we will not be back.
Yeah, maybe Roseanne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
That's how she, instead of a boo, it's I'm a domestic goddess.
Yeah, I'd have to. I didn't pose that question before we started the episode, so I'll have to think about that.
Yeah,
we'll
fun.
Jeff, plug whatever you'd like to plug, and let's get out of here.
I'm gonna be at the Caravan Comedy. I think that's a great question. Next week.
That's in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky, 28, 29, 30. I believe Julie Drake out of Oklahoma will be featuring for me. She's very funny. And then I will be in Carterville, Illinois. Well, that's Friday, July 22nd. I don't know if that's going to be possible.
It'll be out, yeah.
And I'm going to be at a place called Walker's Bluff.
Oh, I've been there. Fancy.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
And then I'll be at Crackers Comedy Club August 5th and 6th. Headlining at the downtown, the only location. And then, August 14th, I'm back on a cruise ship, Allure of the Seas, for a week, headlining in their comedy club. And so then I got some various dates coming up with very famous comedian Nick Swardson. So I've got a bunch of dates with him coming up in September and October. And hopefully he will add me to others on his schedule. So
I don't see why not, Jeff.
I hope he does. But yeah, you can go to jeffbodart.com. You can get that in there. I believe I'm on the I'm on all the social medias. Just look for me.
Mm-hmm.
But what's that thing called? The link tree. I got a link tree on there somewhere.
Yeah, you got find all the links, and you do have albums on at least Apple Music, probably.
Yeah, I've got 2 albums. They're still in the can. I got one called Adorable and Affordable. So, and they're no longer on Spotify.
Thanks for bringing that up.
So, but yeah, you can find me out there, everybody.
Yeah, and if you like this one, if you haven't heard the previous episode with Jeff, go back and listen to that in the archives.
Yeah, in the archives.
But Jeffrey Bodart, thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Brent.
Bye.
See ya.